Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Naveksha Gunasekara and let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon.
Azad Salih released and acquitted after 9 months. Bank accounts with money from unlawful means to be frozen. 4 gas-related accidents reported today. Ship with contaminated Chinese fertilizer continues to roam in the sea of Sri Lanka.
In your top story this afternoon, a number of gas-related accidents were reported today as well. 13 such accidents were reported yesterday, while 14 similar incidents were reported on the day before.
The stove at a house in Agbopura, Khantale exploded due to a gas leak. The incident had occurred at about 9 last night. No one was injured. Residents of the house had taken steps to leave the leaking gas cylinder outside of their house after the incident. The stove at a house in Kirimatiana, Khadavada had also exploded this morning. Residents point out that the incident occurred after breakfast was prepared in the kitchen. The stove at a house in Hindeniya Veyangoda had exploded last night. No one was injured in the incident. Gas leaks were reported in 2 gas cylinders at a shop selling gas cylinders in Kurunduwatta, Akmimana.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Energy also expressed his views regarding gas-related accidents at a ceremony held in Colombo yesterday.
gas එක කාන්දු වෙනවා කියන එක අපේ නහයට දැනෙන්නේ ගෑසින් දනෙවෙයි.
We smell the gas leak not because of the gas but because of the mercaptan included in gas. If mercaptan is not added, or if it's not added per the required quantity, if there is a gas leak, we wouldn't know of it. If we go and light a matchstick to heat the stove as usual, or if we light up the gas as usual, or light a cigarette, an explosion can take place. Is this a situation where mercaptan is not included in the gas, or is it not included in the required amount? All these years we feared the bombs that would go off suddenly, but now the gas cylinder has become something like a suicide bomb that we pay money and purchase and take home. We can only overcome this fear by finding out the reason behind publicizing it and finding a solution to it.
මේ බය නැති කළ හැක්කේ ඇත්ත හේතුව හොයාගෙන ඒ ප්‍රසිද්ධ කරලා ඒ හේතුව මගහැර ගන්න ක්‍රමවේදයක් හැදීමෙන් පමණයි.
It's better if these gas cylinders are left in the houses of the ministers. I think around 12 gas explosions were reported yesterday. They have different excuses. They're saying it's low quality gas, that it's not up to standard. They're saying that the composition has changed, but there are explosions. Tests and investigations are being carried out. Is this a game? Changing the quality and the composition is simply for testing, they say. What are the results of these tests? These cylinders should be sent to the homes of the ministers for these tests and trials.
Central Bank Governor Ajit Niwad Cabral said that the bank accounts of those who distribute and receive money through unlawful money transmission methods will be frozen with immediate effect.
Posting on Twitter, the CBSL governor said the central bank urges all migrant Sri Lankans to use only legal channels to repatriate their earnings. Meanwhile, yesterday, the central bank has decided to pay an incentive of 8 rupees per US dollar for workers' remittances in addition to the existing incentive of 2 rupees. Accordingly, a sum of 10 rupees will be paid as an intensive when funds are remitted through licensed banks and other internationally accepted formal channels and converted into Sri Lankan rupees until the 31st of December. Central Bank said the additional incentive is expected to attract more workers' remittances to the country through the formal banking channels, thereby improving the foreign currency liquidity in the domestic foreign exchange market. In a statement, the CBSL said several measures are being taken to curtail informal fund transfer channels.
Former Governor Azad Salih, who was charged with making statements to create disharmony among communities and was in remand custody, was released and acquitted from all charges by the Colombo High Court today. Saleh was arrested for allegedly making a controversial statement at a media briefing on the 9th of March 2021, which allegedly aimed to create disharmony among communities. He was arrested on the 16th of March 2021 and was since then remanded by court. Saleh was arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department under the provisions of the Prevention of Terrorism Act and the ICCPR Act. The Colombo High Court also ordered the MPs Mohammed Muzammil, Nimal Piatissa and Gamini Valeboda, who filed the complaint that led to the arrest of Saleh, to be present in court on the 21st of February 2022. This was after the President's counsel Maitri Gunaratne, who appeared for the former governor, told the court that the malicious and baseless complaint by the MPs had caused distress to his client. The President's counsel pointed out that the compensation is due to his client as per the provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure, and thereafter the court issued notice on the three MPs. The Hippo Spirit ship that is carrying a stock of Chinese fertilizer confirmed to be contaminated with bacteria continues to remain in the sea of Sri Lanka. According to the international ship tracking data, the ship is anchored 12.4 nautical miles off the coast of Beruwala. The ship has set sail from the Chinese Qingdao port on the 22nd of September, publicly announcing that it will be sailing to the Colombo port. However, the ship changed course midway and sailed to Singapore, and by the 13th of October, this ship was at the Malacca Strait. While there was no report on the ship after that, the same ship was later tracked in close proximity to the Hambantota port, sailing under the same name, Seyo Explorer. According to the information available at the time, the ship was sailing into the deep seas off the coast of Hambantota, and shortly afterwards the ship did not appear on an international ship tracking site. The data of the ship had been updated on the 31st of October, and the name of the ship was Hippo Spirit, according to the updated information. The Hippo Spirit ship is resupplying on food from the Colombo port and continues to remain seas off Kalutara. On the 9th of September, the National Plant Quarantine Service revealed for the first time that the stock of Chinese organic fertilizer on board the ship contained harmful bacteria. According to the letters exchanged between the Chinese company and their Sri Lankan agents, the letters of credit were opened on the 17th of September. It is therefore questionable as to why letters of credit were opened even after the National Plant Quarantine Service flagged the contamination of the stock of fertilizer. On the 12th of September, the Chinese company, in a letter addressed to Sri Lankan officials, informed them that the fertilizer stocks are not up to Sri Lankan standards, but the amount of bacteria in the fertilizer can be reduced. The letter adds that if Sri Lankan officials agree to this, the Chinese company was willing to peacefully withdraw from the agreement.
The organic fertilizer ship is at sea for more than 70 days. China, which had a good relationship with us during good and bad times as a brother and a friend, is now having a sour relationship with us. The Sri Lanka Standards Institute says there are no harmful microorganisms and that it can be allowed into the country. But the National Plant Quarantine Service, operating under the same government, says it contains harmful bacteria. When two state laboratories are releasing contradicting reports, China expresses its frustration to us. Regardless of what decision is made, the ties between both our countries must be protected.
A case regarding this agreement is currently ongoing at the Colombo Commercial High Court. Will the government, through the Attorney General, agree to the payment of compensation through the money of the general public to protect goodwill with the Chinese? Still in local news, prices of vegetables at many economic centres across the country are once more in the rise.
Prices of vegetables at the Dambulla Economic Centre were higher than usual today. Traders point out that although a reduction in the prices of vegetables had been observed in recent days, they are on the rise once more. The wholesale price of 1 kilo of capsicum was marked between 500 to 550 rupees. The wholesale price of a kilogram of tomatoes was between 320 and 370 rupees. These are visuals of the Manning market in Paliagoda. Prices of vegetables at the Manning market were slightly lower than usual. A higher inflow of vegetable stocks has also been observed at the market. Today, the price of a kilogram of tomatoes was rupees 400. The price of a kilogram of capsicum was 500 rupees, and a kilogram of green chili was between 400 and 450 rupees. Our cameras also captured visuals of the Paliagoda fish market today. In comparison to previous days, we received a favorable number of fish stocks. However, there is no change in prices. This was the situation at the Manik Kumbra Economic Centre in Kandy. The prices of vegetables at the Manik Kumbra Economic Centre have risen in comparison to usual prices. The president of the Economic Centre Trade Union said that although around 1 million kilos of vegetables were received daily, the quantity of vegetables received today is less than 1 million kilos. The decrease in the stocks of vegetables delivered to the Kappadipola Economic Centre has also been noted. Accordingly, the prices of vegetables have gone up.
A dead fishing cat has been found at the Blink Boarding Tea Estate in Hatton, Norwood. Estate workers had found the carcass of the dead fishing cat and informed the police about it. Wildlife officers said the dead fishing cat was about 6 years old. The Nalatania Wildlife Office is conducting further inquiries. Four suspects have been arrested for conducting an unauthorized workshop on psychology for children at a college in Halyala. Police said that the suspects were in possession of 3 luggages, an air rifle and 129 rounds of ammunition.
The Halyala police had received a complaint that the counsellor who had come to conduct the psychological program had come with a group of private security guards dressed in black and that they were carrying mobile phones and a firearm. The police investigations revealed that the approval of the Provincial Director of Education or the Zonal Director of Education had not been obtained for the program. It has also been revealed that the consultant conducting this program is not qualified to conduct such programs at any registered institutions. The 4 suspects arrested in connection with the incident are due to be produced before the Badulla Magistrates Court today.
Colours That Sing, an exhibition of paintings by Maria Alice Fernando, took place yesterday at the Lionel Wendt Gallery. Sing by Mrs. Maria Alice Fernando, one of Sri Lanka's most contemporary artists, is meant to inspire and create happiness from within. The new exhibition will feature 65 paintings, with the mainstay being her Sri Lankan landscapes, always sketched on the spot and often with a gaggle of villagers marvelling at this kalakari at work. Colours That Sing exhibition will be open to the public at the Lionel Wendt Gallery from today till the 5th of Sunday, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. The National Building Research Organisation says that landslides and embankment collapse have been reported in 1,144 places in the island due to the extreme weather conditions. Senior geologist at the NBRO, Dr. Vasanta Senadira, said that 96 landslides are among them.
A landslide was reported in the Korotua Hene area in Henegama, Akurasa last night. Our correspondent said a 75 feet high earth embankment had collapsed due to the landslide. A house was damaged due to the landslide. Our correspondent said that there were 4 people in the house at the time of the landslide, adding that they ran away and survived. A 3.5-year-old girl who was at the house at the time had sustained minor injuries. Senior geologist at the NBRO, Vasanta Senadira, said 9 people have died due to the landslides during the last month. Dr. Senadira said the stabilization of opportunity and risk areas has already commenced. Meanwhile, it is reported that the people of Vanathavilua Haisithis Ata Mangalapura village has been affected as water that accumulated during the last rainy season has not receded. About 40 families are facing this problem. Residents are demanding that a proper drainage system be set up to drain the water. Several areas along the Karapitia road via Ambalangwatha in Gaul were inundated due to heavy rains last night.
Another 1,503,450 doses of the Pfizer vaccine were brought down to the island this morning on board a flight from Dubai. The State Minister of Pharmaceuticals, Regulation and Supply stated that Sri Lanka received a stock of vaccines that was ordered by the State Pharmaceutical Corporation. Minister of State Professor Channa Jayasumana said that the stock of vaccines was taken to the Central Vaccine Storage Facility of the Ministry of Health.
Everyone who is coming into Sri Lanka need to get a negative PCR report performed 72 hours prior to embarking into the aircraft, and also they should get fully vaccinated before entering into the country, and anyone who is not complying to those requirements need to undergo proper quarantine procedures. Any suspicious patients will be subjected to the gene sequencing to detect any variants entering. So all possible actions are being taken at the airport to ensure that COVID-19 infection in general is not entering into the country through the airport. But we know that this is not 100% perfect in anywhere in the world. We have to take our all possible precautions to adhere to the health guidelines, so we will be protected from the COVID-19 infection in general.
The European Union has revealed details of a $340 billion global investment plan described as a true alternative to China's Belt and Road strategy.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the Global Gateway scheme should become a trusted brand. China has funded rail, roads and ports, but has been accused of leaving some countries saddled with debt. The Commission chief said countries need trusted partners to design projects that were sustainable. The EU is looking at how it can leverage billions of euros drawn from member states, financial institutions and the private sector. This will largely take the form of guarantees or loans rather than grants. Von der Leyen said the EU wanted to show that a different democratic approach could deliver on projects that focused on tackling climate change as well as global health security and sustainable development for developing countries.
In international news, the President of the European Commission says European Union countries should consider mandatory vaccination to combat COVID and the Omicron variant.
President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen said vaccines would be crucial in the fight against the highly contagious new variant. Some 24 countries have reported cases of Omicron, and the EU has tightened travel restrictions since it was first reported earlier this month. European countries have also been facing a wider spike in cases. The World Health Organization, meanwhile, said early signs were that most cases of the Omicron variant were mild. Yesterday, von der Leyen said it was understandable and appropriate for EU members to discuss mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations, given that a third of the bloc's population was unvaccinated. Only individual EU states can enforce vaccine mandates, and some are already taking steps in that direction.
And that's a wrap of Lunchtime News here on TV1. Thank you for joining. You can always log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk for all these stories and much more. Take care and stay safe.